Welcome back, dear students. Today we will see the new topic of pelvic inflammatory disease, that is known as cervical erosion. Now, this is very important topic both from theoretical and clinical point of view. See, we as a homeopath always get these cases, and it is really challenging to treat these cases. So we understand it properly today. What is the definition? What do you mean by cervical erosion? It is the result from extension of the columnar endocervical epithelium beyond the external os to replace the squamous epithelium of portio vaginalis. You must be remembering cervix is divided into two parts, supravaginal portion of the cervix and vaginal portion of the cervix. This vaginal portion is also known as portio vaginalis, and this portio vaginalis we also see external os is there. Now at the external os, when endocervical columnar epithelium replaces the squamous epithelium, this process is nothing but the cervical erosion. So how it looks clinically, it is the reddened area at portio vaginalis of the cervix. When we go for perspiculum examination, we see the around the external os area has become red. So this is a clinical definition, and this is what a histological change occurs. So we'll see one by one how it is classified. It is classified into various forms. Congenital. When it is occurred since birth, we call it having a congenital erosion in a newborn baby. Then it may be due to hormonal fluctuations. Hormonal fluctuations are common in reproductive age groups. It may be seen associated with cervicitis. When chronic cervicitis is there, most of the time it changes into erosion if not treated in time. Now we'll see first of all what is congenital. It occurs in late intrauterine life. Why it occurs? When histological os extends beyond the anatomical os. We know the area between the os which opens between the inner this histological os and anatomical os, the area, the point where uterus and cervix opens, that is internal os, and point where cervix and vagina meets, that is the anatomical os. So the external and internal os. In between external and internal os there is histological os, and changes takes place here only. So we see the cherry red endocervical epithelium which appears around the external os in a newborn girls. See, we can see the reddened appearance at the external os. This is the cervix, this is the external os, this is the internal. External we can call it as a ectocervix, and internal, that is the endocervix. We'll see in our next slide how the change takes place. But congenital, it regresses on its own. It is due to the maternal estrogen in female newborn girl. Why this congenital erosion is occurring? Because of high levels of maternal estrogen during pregnancy. Remission occurs after childbirth. Once mother is delivering, then slowly, steadily it is removed. It is healed by itself. Then hormonal. Hormonal fluctuations are commonly seen in teenagers. I already told you it is a reproductive age group. It is seen in pregnancy. It is seen in those women who are on OC pills or who are on patches containing estrogen. It is rarely seen after postmenopausal period. We know there is a hormonal deficiencies. Now, erosions associated with cervicitis. Students, you can see this is the clinical appearance on perspiculum examination. Simple flat type looks like this only. Now, if the erosion is associated with cervicitis, it is divided into two mainly. We can see first simple flat. What is this simple flat? In chronic cervicitis, the denuded area around the os is covered by endocervical epithelium, which appears as smooth, glistening translucent epithelium. See, in chronic cervicitis, the alkaline discharge occurs continuously, which causes maceration and desquamation of squamous epithelium, and it denudes the area of epithelium around the external os. Due to discharge, the area is os, the cells are denuded. Now, if areas are denuded, it has to heal by itself. While healing, what occurs? The endocervical columnar epithelium is, this covers the red raw area. When the endocervical epithelium covers the red raw area, it appears as smooth glistening surface. See, you can see smooth glistening translucent epithelium. It is called as simple flat type. You cannot see any eversion or any swelling here. That's why it is a simple flat type of cervical erosion. Now we will see one of the type of chronic cervicitis and Nabothian follicles. But before that, what exactly happens in the hormonal type? We also call it as a papillary type. This is common during pregnancy and OC pills when women are taking oral contraceptives. Now here what actually happens, they tend to regress after purpurium and discontinuing the OCP. When woman is delivered, then that is a purpurium period, they regresses by themselves, and when woman is discontinuing the OCPs. But why it actually exactly occurs, how it occurs? See, this is the normal cervix and this is a change. We will discuss it later, but before that, hyperplasia of endocervical epithelium causes papillary type. It is hormonal, therefore during pregnancy and OCPs. Here what happens, the epithelium enlarges, regrows and gives the papillary projections. That's why they look papillary type. We call it as a hormonal or papillary. Then most important is Nabothian follicles. This is named after the founder Nabothian. Naboth. It is produced. How it is produced? See, first of all, we will see there are follicular cystic erosion. It is produced by squamous epithelium. This squamous epithelium occludes mouth of the columnar glands. You know, when squamous epithelium is produced by squamous epithelium, it occludes the mouth of the columnar gland. This occurs when healing takes place. We have seen simple flat type. When the squamous epithelium, after the denusion, the squamous epithelium has to again replace the columnar. This occurs during the healing process. Sometimes the columnar epithelium cells undergo the squamous change, and this squamous downgrowth is known as epidermization. It looks like epidermoid cancer. This is important thing. It is not seen in Nabothian, but sometimes the epidermization, when squamous replaces the columnar in healing, it is wrongly considered as it is a epidermoid cancer, which is neither malignant nor pre-malignant. So one has to be very careful while looking for epidermization or a healing process. So in Nabothian, while healing, this squamous epithelium occludes the mouth of the columnar gland, means columnar cells, as it replaces the columnar epithelium during healing. And these blocked glands are distended with secretions. See, these blocked glands are distended and the secretions are seen in the form of small cyst. So this small cyst can be seen with the naked eye. This is the picture of Nabothian cyst, and it is called as Nabothian, also called as Nabothian follicles. So we will see how it is diagnosed. So we have to remember, it is neither malignant, it is nor pre-malignant. Okay.